Welcome in to the Chicago Toddcast, episode 2. I appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you for coming back if you listened to the first episode. And yeah, we're back. Talked to some Chicago sports this week. This is the second episode. And this episode, I kind of just want to get into a little more Bears talk. We really didn't do a ton this past week. Talked more about the White Sox. We'll talk a little bit about the White Sox to kick off the show, but mainly want to talk some Bears football. And so let's start with the White Sox. Sox today, I'm recording this on June 16th, open up a series against the New York Yankees, coming off an incredible weekend, about as good as it could have gone for the White Sox, playing the Braves and then the Dodgers at home. You almost got no hit on Saturday, it would have been, which is what it is. It's fine. Gotta move on. Yoshinobu Yamamoto had an incredible game, and then Tristan Peters with the with the ninth inning home run to break up the no-no. But then you turn around the next day against the Dodgers and you put up 6 runs. I believe it was the 6th inning. 3 home runs from Chase Mydroth, Colson Montgomery, and then Sammy Antonacci. And just like that, you end up taking 4 out of 5 games from the Braves and Dodgers, who are the 2 best teams in baseball. And now you go on the road against a very good Yankee team. And this really ends the final hard stretch in June, which everyone was nervous about. I believe the Sox go on and play the Detroit Tigers after this. And so, but going back to this past weekend, it is about as good of a weekend as you could have imagined for the White Sox. If someone asked me what you would hope for playing the Dodgers and the White Sox, I would have told you, or if someone would have told me we were playing the Braves and the Dodgers before this weekend, what would your ideal circumstance be? I'd say win both series. That would be ideal. Like the best of the best, win both series. Because in theory, you're not going to, especially facing Yoshinobu Yamamoto from the Dodgers, and then they also face Chris Sale. If I knew that, or knowing that going into the series, I would have said win both series, find a way. This team is resilient. You got that walk-off home run from Braden Montgomery in the opener against the Braves. And knowing that they face Chris Sale, who's arguably one of the best pitchers in baseball, and he's still 38, throwing 99 miles an hour from a low slot on the left side. It's quite incredible. And then you're also facing Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and then also Roki Sasaki, the 2 Japanese pitchers from the Dodgers who have had pretty good seasons. And Yamamoto did it in the playoffs last year. They were facing some really, really tough pitching in this stretch. And if someone told me, all right, this is the circumstances, I would have said win both series. And the Sox did that. Yeah, they almost got no hit on Saturday, but you're going to have games where your bats aren't alive. On Sunday, bats were still not alive for the first 5 innings, and then just like that, they turn on. And it's like, dang, this team is resilient. This team doesn't care what happens to them. All they care about is if they have more runs at the end of the game. And that again goes back to Will Venable. Just creating a vision and camaraderie and a locker room that is seemingly just cares about winning and having fun, and that's what they're doing, and they're beating some of the best teams in the MLB doing this. And it's just crazy to see the turnaround from 2024. There's that famous, I guess, meme or famous picture of Miguel Vargas just kind of, I think it was in Oakland, like looking like he was questioning being traded by the Dodgers and going to a losing organization in the White Sox, and not just a losing organization in the White Sox, the worst team in the history of baseball in the White Sox. And in the matter of 2 years, the White Sox are ahead of schedule in terms of their rebuild. They're bringing up guys left and right. I think they've had 12 new players this year making their debuts. And these guys are all contributing to a team that is, I believe they're 38 and 32. Let me double check that right now, but it's just wild to think about, and it's awesome to see for the Sox. Yeah, they're 38 and 32. And what Chris Getz has been able to do in such a short time has been truly remarkable. Now we see what we got versus the Yankees coming up. You've got a tough 3 games, and then you play the Detroit Tigers, who will still play pretty tough. But the pitching matchups coming up is going to be Davis Martin, Garrett Cole. The 2 big boys of both teams. Obviously, it's not Cam Schlittler, but it's Garrett Cole. They're arguably their second arm versus going up against your ace. So it's going to be a heavyweight matchup. And then you got Anthony Kay versus Carlos Rodon on Wednesday. The 2 lefties for their respective teams. And Anthony Kay is someone we got to talk about a little more as well. Coming over, playing in the MLB for the first time since 2023. I think he was in either Japan or Korea, and he's done a marvelous job for the White Sox. He's got a 4.34 ERA in 12 starts. He's really started more like 14 games because the Sox ran out some openers. But it's been a very productive season from a guy you didn't know what you were getting, who hadn't pitched in the MLB since 2023. And then on Thursday, you got Sean Burke, who's struggled these last few times out, so he's going to have his hands full with this Yankee lineup going against Ryan Weathers. And so, yeah, it's just been fun to watch, and I'm so incredibly excited to watch the Sox go up against the Yankees. It could be a potential playoff matchup preview. And I'm in kind of the feeling of give the White Sox the best of the best when we play these teams. Let these young guys know what they're going up against. And I believe we got that against the Dodgers, facing Roki Sasaki. Yeah, Shohei Ohtani didn't play on Friday when the Sox won Game 1. But you versed Yoshinobu Yamamoto on Saturday, and then you beat the Dodgers at full strength on Sunday. So I hope to get that from the Yankees, give us the best of the best, and we'll see what the White Sox can do. Now let's switch and go into talking about the Bears. And this is going to be mainly a recap of last season, just because I haven't talked about the Bears yet on this podcast, and I want to go into a little more depth about how the performance was last year, what I believe to expect for the 2026 season. And yeah, let's get into it. So the Bears went 11-6, won the NFC North division under Ben Johnson in his first year. True, I mean, it's a very similar season to what the White Sox are having right now, a year ahead of schedule. And when I say a year ahead of schedule, I say in their rebuild process, they are a year before they were really supposed to be good. And so it just advances that. And it's great because you're doing it under Caleb Williams' rookie deal. And all these guys' rookie deals. I mean, the Bears are so young offensively, it's incredible. And that's how you truly build a team. Now, it's been a little unfortunate, in my opinion, the lack of getting. The Bears were one of the worst pass rush defenses in the league last year, and they haven't really done much on that side of the ball to fix that. They've been trying to build from within, relying on their coaching, which is fine, but it's unfortunate to see because you have a lot of your offense under rookie deals, and so you have money to spend before you hit that salary cap, which is kind of unfortunate. Like, I wish they would have tried to go out and be more aggressive with Max Crosby. Now, Max Crosby's turned out to be hurt, but I still have a gut feeling he's going to still be Max Crosby. They did a little bit in acquiring some guys, but not as much as I feel they could have done in free agency. But like acquiring guys like Kobe Bryant, a safety, that's a good signing. You needed someone to replace Jaquan Brisker, who left. But the lack of getting guys up front is going to be a little concerning. I feel like the Bears are going to get the ball run down their throats a little bit this year. But we'll see. So going back to last year, Bears went 11-6. They won the NFC North, totally exceeded expectations. They beat the Packers at home in the regular season, and then they were faced playing the Packers in the opening round of the playoffs. And they're down 20-3 in the second half, come all the way back, beat the Packers in regulation. Then they go play the Rams in the divisional round and lose 20-17 in overtime. That's about, if you would have told me, all right, you're winning one playoff game, I would have taken it at the beginning of the year. If you said Bears are winning one playoff game, I don't care who it's against. If you win one playoff game, and I mind you, they hosted that game against the Packers because they won the division, I would have said, yeah, sign me up. That's best case scenario. The team is obviously doing something right, and we beat the Packers at home in the playoffs for your first time since, I believe it was 2011 they got their first playoff win, 2011 or 2010. And they overcame the Cody Parkey. They came all the way back, 20-3 was that score where they came back from. And just a season full of magical moments. I mean, you had the comeback against the Cincinnati Bengals where Caleb Williams is just showing how he is truly the Iceman, hitting Colston Loveland over the middle, who goes for the touchdown. You had the Giants game where Caleb Williams takes control, has that rushing touchdown, and ultimately comes back against the Giants. You had the Vikings game where Devin Duvernay runs it back to the Vikings 40-yard line, and the Bears get into field goal range and win the game. You had all these moments. You had the Packers game on Christmas weekend where they come back. Caleb Williams, or it was Cairo Santos, gets the onside kick. Caleb Williams hits Ja'Day Walker in the back corner of the end zone for the touchdown. They go to overtime. The defense holds the Packers, and then we hit the bomb to DJ Moore for the win. I mean, it's just time after time. Even the Lions game in the last game of the year, the Bears ultimately didn't end up winning that game, but they even came back and made it a close game at the end. I think the Giants or the Lions won by like a walk-off field goal or something like that. So just a season full of magical moments. All of it was stemmed from Caleb Williams and the play of Caleb Williams. And there's a few things I want to go into about Caleb Williams. We'll run through the stats real quick. So his completion percentage was low, 58.1%, lower than I'd like to see for a guy who's going to be the face of your franchise. But a lot of those were a decent amount were drops by guys. And, I mean, even DJ Moore, our best receiver, had quite a few drops on that year. And drops are going to happen. I know that. So it factors into every guy's completion percentage. But 58.1% completion percentage on 3,942 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. The touchdown to interception ratio, incredible, 27-7. That's what you want. And it's what you want from a guy, and I don't think this is something that's talked about enough, is a guy who's throwing incredibly tough passes. He's not bailing out. He's not checking down all the time. He's throwing into really tiny targets, targets that guys are open for brief seconds. And this is something that combats that accuracy in completion percentage. I feel like it doesn't get talked enough about how difficult some of these throws are that Caleb Williams is making. I mean, you look at the one to DJ Moore in the Browns game where he's rolling out right, just kind of falling out of bounds, throws it 30 yards downfield through seemingly the whole Browns defense, and it's caught by DJ Moore in the back of the end zone. You look at the one to Olamide Zaccheaus in the Packers game where it goes through the Packers secondary's arms in the, I believe it is the right corner of the end zone, in just such a tight window. The pass that Caleb Williams made against the Packers at Lambeau where it's over the shoulder to Cole Kmet. So it's throws like those that are truly incredible that only a few guys can make. I would say it's probably Patrick Mahomes can make throws like that, and there's a handful of other guys, Josh Allen, but that's really it, and that's what's earned him the cover of Madden, which I'm super excited about. Really, really cool Madden cover for Madden, kind of referencing Jordan's famous image jumping over the city of Chicago in the skyline. So I'm excited to play that one. And but no, I feel like Caleb's main nag from people is that completion percentage. Now, Caleb Williams has to get it going sooner in games. It's something that I believe the whole Bears offense needs to be better. The only time you really, or one of the only games you had a true performing offense for the whole game was Cincinnati Bengals. You had it against the Cleveland Browns, and you also had it, I think they played really well against the Philadelphia Eagles on that Black Friday game for most of the game. And that was more the run game. But I want to see the Bears be able to get their offense going sooner into games. The 49ers game, too, is just an offensive shootout. That's where the defense couldn't really hold up. But 49ers game as well as Sunday Night Football late in the season, Caleb looked really, really good. And yeah, but I'd love to see the Bears get it going sooner in the year. I mean, you have games like the Detroit Lions game in the last game of the year where they went seemingly 3 quarters without getting anything going, which stinks to watch as a fan, but also you dig yourself into these holes. I mean, you look at the Packers game in the playoffs, and Bears just weren't going at all, and in the first half. And then in the second half, they come all the way back. I guess you could look at both Packers games that they won, just never got it going in the first half. So that's something I would love to see the offense work on. And the beautiful thing about how the Bears are built and their roster is you've got a team that is so young and has been built with each other, and has been, a lot of them are were rookies last year, and has been built by Ben Johnson, that the team is such in unison that it's just going to be fun to watch coming into the next year. You think of guys like Colson Loveland, arguably one of the best tight ends in the league. It's going to have an explosive year this next year. Looking back on it, in last year, he had 713 receiving yards on 6 touchdowns, 36 first downs, just a third down target, a guy that Caleb trusts, and has in his pocket to throw to at any time. And then you have guys like also Luther Burden, who's 652 yards, only 2 touchdowns last year, but 27 were for first downs. And then also Roma Dunze, 661 yards last year, 6 touchdowns, and mind you, he was out for most of the year. And you still have guys like Cole Kmet. And then you added Sam Roush in the draft and Xavier Thomas and all these guys. The only older one is really Cole Kmet. I mean, you also got Ja'Day Walker, who really came into his own at the end of the year. He caught a big pass against the Lions. He caught the huge touchdown against the Packers at home. So all these guys are younger. You lost, obviously, DJ Moore, which that's going to be a blow. But if you're looking at that offensive side of the football, you see a team that is built very similarly to the White Sox. They're all young guys. They've all been drafted by the Bears or given a chance by the Bears. I don't know if Ja'Day Walker was signed by the Bears after the draft or what, but these guys have all been coached up by Ben Johnson, and they're all working in unison. And so that's such an exciting thing, is to know that last year was a lot of their rookie years. I mean, Colson Loveland, Luther Burden, these guys are all in year 2 now. Ja'Day Walker was a rookie. They're all in year 2 coming up, and just the sky's the limit for them. As long as they can stay healthy, they only know one quarterback in the NFL, and that's Caleb Williams. They know how he plays. It's all their second year in the system of Ben Johnson. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think the Bears should be favored to win the NFC North. And yeah, they got the toughest schedule in the NFL, but I don't make too much of a big deal about that. I mean, you never know what injuries are going to happen. You never know how guys are going to perform year over year. So I just hope that the Bears can eliminate if you remember back to 2019, so it was right after the 2018 season where the Bears made the playoffs. Cody Parkey year, had a great defense. In 2019, there were big expectations again, and they lost some pieces just like this Bears team has, losing DJ Moore. Um, but it was really kind of a dud year. I believe they still made the playoffs and played the Saints in the playoffs, but it really wasn't pretty. So if the Bears can avoid that, pick up right where they left off in 2020 at the end, early stages of 2026 in the playoffs, but the 2025 season, and just keep taking steps forward. Caleb Williams, keep taking steps forward, increase that completion percentage, keep being the scrambler and guy he is in the pocket that can feel pressure, get out of seemingly any sort of sack, to extend plays and hit guys on the run. It should be a really good year for the Bears, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Defensively, it's going to be interesting. Really didn't do much up front. You still got a lot of the same guys as you were rocking last year. I mean, you added Dylan Thieneman and Kobe Bryant, so it's a brand new safety duo, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. You look to get some production out of Kyler Gordon this year. Seemingly didn't play at all last year, and you hope Jalen Johnson has a better year than he did last year. You hope he has a season and reason for why you signed him a few years ago to a pretty hefty extension. And so, yeah, I couldn't be more excited about the Bears season coming up. OTAs just finished. I've been soaking up all the press conferences. Caleb seems confident. He seems very focused, I think would be the best how I've analyzed his press conferences from OTAs. He's very focused, consistently talking about how he hasn't accomplished all that he's wanted to, in terms of winning a Super Bowl, winning MVP, stuff like that, and how Ben Johnson keeps holding him accountable, and just kind of job's not finished mentality, which is good to see for a guy who just ended up on the Madden cover. Has probably been the best quarterback in Bears history. At least last season he had the best season. And then you'd love to see him get to the 4,000 yard passing yard mark. And so, yeah, that's kind of my Bears recap. We didn't talk too much about the defense. My big takeaway from that is the defensive line needs to be better than they were. Guys like Grady Jarrett need to produce to the level that you signed them to produce at. Montez Sweat needs to be better. Although at the end of last year, Montez Sweat really kind of picked it up. But Austin Booker, guys like that need to be the guys you drafted them to be and signed them to be and traded for them to be. So, yeah, we'll get into it a little more here in the upcoming weeks and dive in more to specifics. But for now, I think we'll call it good. I appreciate you all listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for joining into the Chicago Toddcast episode 2. And in the comments, if you could, let me know some other topics you want me to talk about, what content you guys would like. And, yeah, we'll go from there. I appreciate it. Have a good one.